Welcome to the Keeper's Corner Euros edition, where we're going to take a look at goals that go in and we're going to break them down, Watto, aren't we? And we're going to discuss whether the goalie should have done better, what he could have done to make the save possibly. And we've also got a save of the week for you as well, haven't we?
Perfect episode today, guys. We're looking at the Euros top goalkeepers, and we're still thinking they could do a little bit better. And obviously, one of the saves of the tournament so far. All
right, let's start with Angus Gunn then. First game of the tournament. It's a tough one. We're at Germany. And I think he should say this, Watto.
No, I think it's an honest assessment. And I think when he sits down with Chris Woods, his goalkeeping coach for the national team, I think they'll have an honest assessment of it. It's very, very tough, isn't it? Scotland not been to a major tournament for such a long time. Yeah. 10 minutes in, you've got the hosts. And I think for 90% of that action, he thinks he's saved it. But for me, when the square pass comes, I think he's a little bit too far towards his near post.
Too close that way, yeah.
The shot's in ultimately coming from the arc of the D, and it's really a strike from very, very central if you're not too critical. I think what you've got to realise is ultimately the defender's protecting that left-hand side of the goal for you. And I think if you can read that in the millisecond as the cross comes along, I think you're probably half a yard
to his right.
To his right is a better position, and maybe even half a step higher.
Yeah, I think the thing is, right, at this moment in time, the goalie is in between a rock and a hard place, okay? What he has to do is commit to one side of the goal and say, this is my side of the goal. If he puts it here, I back myself to make the save. Yeah. And what you have to do is forego that other side and go, right, my defender's there. If he whips it round the defender or through his legs into my bottom left-hand corner, I hold my hands up, it's a world-class finish. But you have to go for one side and you have to back it. And what he's done is, one, he hasn't moved far enough over, but two, as he's about to strike the ball, he's taken a little jump up, hasn't he? He's popped up. Yeah. And that's what's kind of really shortened his reaction speed in time,
because,
hasn't
it? You're spot on. I think he's got to read it quicker, because the only way that ball's coming back to his left hand is if he actually shoves it through 13's legs.
Yeah, look, it's the only way. Feet are off the ground at this moment in time.
And when you lose contact time, you're losing reaction. So we're seeing that ball and we're saying he's struck it from 20 yards. He's at a yard, so you've got 19 yards reaction time. But actually, when you see it now, when he plants, after he's struck the ball, he's probably already got, he's lost, he's still not down, he's down.
And that's probably on the penalty spot.
Maybe in between penalty spot and further. Yeah. And if you see that there, I think that's the telltale sign. That's 3 yards inside that post. Yeah. He's at full stretch. You can already see, because he's lost reaction time, his right hand's just behind his eye line. So he's opened the goal up, and that's why we talk about if he could have been half a yard higher, he would have lost some reaction time. But if he'd have kept his feet on the floor so he didn't lose so much time on the little jump, you can see here, perfect. By the time he's now pushing away, that ball's at 10 yards. Yeah. He's at 1, so he's only got 9 yards. So he's half a yard out. The little jump costs him time. And because he's not that half yard further over, and he's now lost time and he's diving just inside his line, the goal's too big for him.
Having said all of that, I still think at that moment in time where he gets down and gets the hand on it, it's such a good hand, I still think he thinks he's making this save. I think at this moment in time, he's still going to make the save, and it's going to be a lovely save as well. It's hit, like the big, strong part of his hand as well. It's a full hand on it, a real full hand. And I think even now he would say, yeah, I should have saved it still. I still should have saved it. Even though all that, the errors, I should have been further across, I shouldn't have jumped off the ground when he struck it. I still think he should have made the save.
I think if you went back to that old BBC question of sport, what happened next? When you hold the freeze frame where you have it as the ball's just contacting his right hand, I'm exactly like you. I don't think anybody expects it to go in. Yeah. And this is the life of a goalie. But in that first 10 minutes of a major tournament, for you, when it's your debut in a major tournament, for the team who's not been there, and for all the work you put in, when that ball just pops up off the surface like that, you'll favour it. Yeah. You'll favour it. If it's really low and you've lost your time, it's tough. But I think knowing the character, knowing him myself, and ultimately that's where it all starts, I think he'd be really disappointed. Because if he makes that save, he can really grow into the tournament, and he gives his team a chance to go.
Do you know what the beauty of being a goalie, right, and a goalie coach, and knowing a little bit more about this stuff is, right? When that goal went in, there was a few commentators saying, maybe he could have saved it. But I guarantee you, every goalkeeper that has played at a very good level will have looked at that and gone, yeah, he should be stopping that. He should be saving it. And he'll be disappointed with it, Angus Gunn would. He's a very good goalkeeper. And I know for a fact, though, he would have sat down, like you say, with Chris Woods, and they'd have looked at that the next day and they'd have gone, oh, yeah, he should have saved it. And he'd have gone, yeah, should have saved it. It's not a glaring mistake. It's not a massive error, but it's something that you would look at and go, next time, I think this is what you should do, and you probably will save it.
But this is the only way that anybody watching the programme is going to get better. You've got to be honest with yourself first.
Yeah.
And if you can watch this clip and honestly say, well, do you know what? He's really done his best here. It's a good contact, and you think that's a good finish, then you're always going to stay at the level you're at. You've got to look always at pushing yourself to get higher.
We want to get higher. That's what we want to do. We've got a goal for you in a bit that is not necessarily even an error. It's not a problem, but a lot of people, it was a near post goal, and as commentators love to do, they like to say, oh, a goalie shouldn't get beaten as near post. We're going to break down exactly why that ball went in the back of the net. Right, time for goal number 2. We're going to stay with the Germany-Scotland game. Angus Gunn again. It's the 5th goal of the game. I think it was Emre Can who scored the goal. He's been really clever here, Emre is, because he's used the bodies of 2 Scotland players, to hide where the ball's going to go. Yeah. He's used them as obstacles to get in the way of Angus Gunn's eye line. He's bent it round them and he's put it in the corner. Yeah. And it's not like a bullet, though. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's gone bulleting in the corner. Angus Gunn's got a hand onto it again, but the ball has still found its way into the back of the net.
I think if you start just as he's going to strike,
it's the same problem again.
I think you have the same problem. But where I have the problem here is, yes, he has the little technique of the little jump, but if you hold that freeze frame there, and again, what happened next, and you took everybody out, you would actually possibly think it's a penalty.
You would, wouldn't you?
So
he stood on his line.
If he's on his line, it cannot give you enough. Yes, you've bought reaction time, but Chan's an unbelievable player. As you say, he's bent it round 2 players. Yeah. But you're still seeing it so late, but you're making the goal too big for him.
Ideally, where does he need to be there? When Emre Can is getting this shot off now, and it is absolutely on the edge of the D, where should Angus Gunn be right now?
I think at 2.5 yards, he probably saves that.
2.5 yards further out, which is probably, what, a step and a half, 2 steps
It's a step and a half, but when we analyse the first goal, it's the same thing. His first movement pattern, when the ball's played back and squared to him, is he wants to move back into the goal. Yeah. And I understand it from a perspective of reaction time and buying time, because you want to use your feet. We spoke about it before. Feet allows you to make saves with your hands. So you're buying time to get your contacts, but you've opened the goal up too much for him.
Yeah.
And at the point now, this is the perfect example. When that ball's now shifted back, just work a little arc. You don't want to step into the save, be caught moving down the line of it. But from that position, he's always backed inside the goal. There you see it perfectly. And for top players, the goal's now too big.
I think as well, you have to recognise the body shape. You have to recognise everything about Emre Can right here now. You know where he's going to put that ball. Absolutely. You know he's not kicking it full force with his laces. You know that. You know he's not trying to put it in your near post down here. Yeah. You know all he's trying to do is use those defenders' bodies as obstacles, as mannequins, and he's trying to bend it in that far corner. Yeah. So I think you as a goalie, you have to preempt that. You have to smell it. You have to see everything that's happening in front of you, and you have to analyse it in such microscopic seconds as well. But what you should be doing is you should be taking even a step out on the corner a little bit, taking a step out diagonally. That's an easy save, isn't it?
And really push. Yeah. But I think this is also a test when you're looking at this and realising that even if your team's 4-1 down and it's 90 plus something, you're still going to get challenged. The game's not done. And does it matter that it's 4 or 5? Of course it matters. It's your self-pride. It's your mentality. And I think a bit like you, he'll be really mentally fatigued at this point. It's his first game in a big tournament. They're getting beat 4. He knows he should have probably done better on the first goal. The game's now run away from him, and it's into injury time, and he's thinking, oh, thank God for that. But no, there's always another moment to come. I think this is the key. The layback there, he should just flatten out and work across the goal, not go inside it all and make it safe.
You never get to switch off as a goalie.
Ever.
Never. I don't care if it is the 99th minute and the ball is up at the other end of the pitch. You never, ever switch off, even for a split second. You never get to enjoy it, do you?
The moment you switch off, honestly, goal, the football gods work against you and you're done. So it's really tough on him in his first tournament, and we've had to be critical on 2 goals here. But I think with his coach, Chris, knowing him as I do, if they analyse this and go through these things, it can make it better.
You know what I'd love to do one time is get a actual goalkeeper here that has played. So if Angus Gunn was sat here now, I would like to think Angus Gunn would completely agree with every single thing we've said today, because if you goalkeepers, we know what it's like, all right? You're in that pressurised situation, but you have to be accountable as well. You have to hold your hands up sometimes and go, yeah, I totally agree. I should have taken another step. I should have got a stronger hand. And I think if he was sat here, he would go, yeah, cool, totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's not a bashing. We do not bash goalkeepers. All we do is we analyse it and we break it down for you guys so you can understand exactly why that ball went in the back.
You're only going to get better if you have honest, open relationships with a coach.
Love that, Watto. Right, third goal then we're looking at today is between Hungary and Switzerland. It's Yann Sommer in goal for the Swiss. I picked this one out, Watto, because I think when the player heads the ball into the back of the net, he's at about 3.5 yards. Yep. When the ball is about to get whipped in, I know exactly what sort of ball is going to get whipped in. It's not going to be one with pace. It's not going to be. It's going to be just floated in there. Yeah. And I think this is the part here where Yann Sommer needs to be a big, brave goalkeeper. Yeah. He needs to take another step out, preempting it, almost going, go on then, if you float this in here, I'm going to be favourite for this here. Yeah. Players see that, you know. Players see goalies make that little step up and go, best not put that in there. But what he has done, he's just stayed exactly where he is. The players floated it in, and then he's got caught in no man's land, doesn't he? He doesn't know whether to come, doesn't know whether to stay, and by the time the ball gets to the player on 3.5 yards, he heads it. Yann Sommer doesn't know what to do. He can't react to make the save. He's flat-footed. He's on his heels. It's all over the shop, isn't it?
I think it starts obviously from the crossing position. So it's Hungary's best player, obviously. What is it? Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai on his right foot. So if I'm in goal to start with, my first point of call here is I'd be asking my defender to, as much as he can, to get right in his face, to change the crossing angle so he can't put it in the danger zone.
But you also know he can't score. You know he can't score. So he can't score from it because the ball is too close to him. He's not going to have enough purchase to be able to really wrap his foot around
But the defender, because he's not got up to the ball, he's actually protecting the near post for you.
Exactly,
the ball can't go there.
Yeah.
And for an experienced goalie, he's sunk into a real safe position. If from that position now, his right leg should be with his left leg in terms of across the goal at least half a yard higher, because you can see there's a corridor between him and his defenders that's getting naturally created because he's allowed that distance. His defenders can't jump up now. It's the ball's coming in. So you have to hold and be in a brave position. And from that point on, he'd make a different decision.
Oh, yeah.
But because he's poor, when the ball first comes in and it's a floaty, he goes safe, thinking, right, I'm going to make a reaction save. And then now he's thinking, oh dear, that's my ball, but it's too late. He's on his heels, he's got no reaction time, he's lost his shape, he's on his backside.
He can't react
with anything, and unless that ball actually hits him, it's going to be a goal. So for all his experience here, as it's now, right, I've got to be a step and a half across and at least a step and a half higher and reading the situation, because my defenders need me to hit me.
I guarantee you, in the second, it's probably only a second, from the ball leaving Szoboszlai's foot to the ball going in the back of the net, Yann Sommer would have gone, I'm coming, oh no, oh shit, oh, and then at this point here he's gone, oh shit, please don't score, please don't hit the back of the net, please let it just hit me in the face.
He wants the left wing back to do a job for him because he's done.
But even the left wing back, in fairness to him, probably will have read this situation as well, knows what ball's coming into the box, and is thinking, I think my goalie might be coming out for this. Either I'm going to get a punch in my head because the goalie's coming out and clearing everything, or this player's going to get the run of me. Either way, I think Jurgen should be doing something here.
That's my point. So ultimately, he keeps compounding it.
Yeah.
But at the moment he knows he's done, he's got to react and just try and put him off by driving at that ball. Yeah. And if he's going to head that in, he's going to get hurt in that situation. And try and put him off. But by just holding and hoping the left wing back does a job, it's all finished. And it's really surprising for a goalie, obviously played at a good level internationally, played a lot of times for Switzerland, obviously big club goalie. He's played in these games, and I'd expect his experience to have done more for him here. So it's a real good one for young goalies watching at any level. Don't get sucked into these really safe positions, and ultimately don't rely on any of your back four or back five. When it's your ball, nice, loud, early call and try and help them out.
Love that, Watto. Right, let's have a look at the fourth goal then, Watto. It is Spain against Croatia. It is Morata. Talk me through it.
Well, I think from the goalie's perspective,
This is a good angle. This is a great angle.
A straight ball straight through the middle of your team. Obviously, you're not going to be too happy about it yourself in terms of what's happened in front of you. But at the moment there's things like that happened in front of you, you're thinking, right, my team needs me now.
Yeah.
Look, he's under semi-pressure. Morata, we all know, is a very good footballer, but he's not naturally the most gifted of a finisher and quite erratic. So don't make it easy for him. It's 0-0. Let the pressure come from your two defenders. Buy some time for them.
Yeah, I know.
That ball's not yours here, so backing off here is fine. You can see the two defenders trying to converge and put a little bit of pressure on now, and he puts it onto his left foot. So at that point, you're either going to try and get all the way to cover the ground, or you're going to hold inside your 6-yard box and say, go on, you might get a tackle. I need to buy something. But he's in that no man's position.
All the weight is over his heels.
And he's on his heels. And he can't now get the right leg out.
This is where you need to be. Basically, you need to pick a moment where you go, right, I'm setting. That's it. I'm fully setting now. But I'm going to be on my toes.
Yeah.
I'm going to have all the pressure and power going through my thighs here. And I'm going to be with my hands down here going, right, if you try and put it here or here, I'm going to spring.
But that's a real good clip. Look now, his hands are behind his backside. They're here.
I know, yeah.
So he's so small in the goal. And Morata can't believe it. He's rolled it in the middle of the goal, but he's sunk so far. His hands are not in a position to help him work with his feet, because when he gets into that one-on-one situation, you want to be spreading and blocking and making yourself big here.
This is here where, if you had an Alisson goal here, this is where I would back Alisson to make this save 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely.
Because Alisson knows exactly what he's doing in this situation. He's seen it hundreds of times. He would have been set. He would have gone, right, I'm going to do the semi-block, semi-spread, and it is going to be, what I'll do, though, is I'll keep my eyes on you and I'll keep in control of all my facilities.
But he knows it's Morata. It's on his left foot. The defenders come across and close the right foot down now.
Yeah.
He can only put it one way.
Exactly, yeah.
Honestly, you'd see his face. He's so...
Yeah.
He can't believe he scored that finish.
I've just sort of bobbled a crap one into
the middle of the goal. Yeah. And I think ultimately, that might set Morata and Spain on the way further in the tournament. But I think from a goalie's perspective, he has to do more for his teammates there. So his hand position low, wait, and reading the situation and the play. And you've got to just buy time and then react. And ultimately, I mean, to be perfectly honest, it's virtually nothing. And he's just rolled it into basically an empty net.
Exactly that. Right then, Watto, the 5th goal, and then we're going to look at the save of the round as well so far. This one, though, I wanted to highlight it because it's Donnarumma in goal for Italy. Albania score, it's like the first minute of the game, and it's gone in the near post. Don't get me wrong, it's taken a little deflection. But still, I hear the groans, as usual, from the commentary, where they say, well, it's gone in his near post. It's gone in his near post. I think this is our chance to break it down and explain exactly why this is almost unsavable.
Yeah, almost unsavable. And I think this is why we've started doing this show. We've spoke about 3 or 4 goals that have come before this that we think all goalies could do a little bit better. And here, to be perfectly honest, it's 20-odd seconds into the game. It's tough for a goalie. You've actually got possession of the ball. It's a really weak throw. But is he in a good position there? Is his weight transfer good? Is his heels just outside the line of the post? Yes. He's not sunk low for a 1v1.
It's absolutely perfect, isn't it? Yeah.
He's in a real good position, and you see, maybe if you're a little bit critical, it could have stood up a fraction more. Yeah. But honestly, guys, that shot is from the corner of the 6-yard box, a yard beyond it. It's 8 or 9 yards.
And it's taken a deflection.
And it's a little deflection.
It's a deflection
and
which has lifted it.
It's the one area where commentators, coaches who are naive talk about his near post, he's beat him. He's hit it like an absolute bullet. Everything's not in your favour, and it's took a little nick. The only place we don't accept getting beat anywhere, but the real danger position, because of reaction time here, is up here on that left shoulder high.
These bits here.
And back across you. Yeah. And honestly, before he shoots his left hand up, if you're really honest and you see it from this angle, which is a great angle,
he's done well to get his hand up that high.
Yeah,
he really
but the ball's already a foot and a half past him.
Yeah, I know.
That's how quick it is. Yeah. He's got no time to spring and drive into a save. He's got to be as big as he can and shoot that left hand at it.
Yeah.
And honestly, any players who shoot high at that point, we know as goalies, goalie coaches, you are vulnerable there with pace. And don't get caught and sucked into that commentator's one. it's his near post, he should save it.
Rubbish.
What we're trying to say here is, even without that nick, that is a really tough
I
think
if it doesn't take the little slight deflection, I think he might save it.
It might just get something
I think
on
he
it.
might save it only because he's done everything right.
Yes.
He's done everything you would have wanted him to have done in that position. The unfortunate bit for him is that deflection really does lift it and put it over him, and that there is completely unsavable. It's as simple as that.
But what you've got to be as he was, brave, stand as big as you can, as late as you can, and hope you can push that left hand into that save. Or better still, the defender gets a block on it.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Right, let's have a look at our save of the round so far. Don't get me wrong, we've still got a few games to go in this game week 1, but we have to talk about this one, Watto. So England versus Serbia last night. Harry Kane, he's at the back post, he's 5 yards out. It's a certain goal, surely.
Yeah, I think for sure. And it just shows you from the goalkeeping perspective here, if I were coaching the guy, I would be very critical of his position.
To start
because
with,
he's a little bit sucked in.
Yeah, too close to the near post.
Then we have to start the running game across the goal. And a bit like Sommer, is he going to rely on the defender to do a job? Kane does an unbelievable leap.
Kane is favourite in that position, by the way. You've got to feel for the defender a little bit. You've got to be some sort of a brute to be able to hold Harry Kane off there. Harry Kane's running onto the ball. The guy is trying to defend it, block it. He's going to be getting pushed down to the ground, isn't he?
But the mentality of the goalie, even though we could say he's in a poor position, he gets across the goal quickly. Mentally, he's never giving it up. Is he loose with his hands position? Could they have been a little bit higher to make it easier for him? But he covers the ground so quickly, never gives it up, manages to get both hands up to it, and ultimately makes an incredible reaction save that on another day could have meant Serbia could have had a chance to get something out of the game, and ultimately made it an uncomfortable last 20 minutes, half an hour for England in this match. But it's just the pace across the goal, the mentality to not give it up, and ultimately, even though you could see that left hand coming near his backside as he's travelling, he still could get it up there just to get that contact on.
He's still sort of in control of it. Don't get me wrong, it's not the sharpest, quickest, most powerful movement I've ever seen from a goalkeeper, but he's still in control of everything. His arms aren't flailing around all over. He's still in control, and that's the bit that makes him able to make that save. And when you're making it from Harry Kane from 4 yards out, point blank range, and it keeps your team in the game, he celebrated like a crazy madman after this, by the way.
Absolutely.
He kept celebrating as well, and rightly so as well, though. It's a massive save, massive moment.
And like you said, we're not too many games into the tournament, but by far the biggest
and bestest, That's it, Watto. Absolutely fantastic. And we just want to let you know as well that we are going to be going out to Germany, aren't we, Watto? We're going to be out in Frankfurt, out in Cologne. We're going to be out there for the best part of 3 weeks as well. Plenty more keepers' corners to come. We're going to be looking at all the goals that go in that we think they could do better, and a few worldy saves as well. So make sure you stay tuned to the Cycling GK YouTube channel. That was a keeper's corner. Watto, you are the boy. Do you know that?
Germany, here we come.
Here we come.